This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, as always, Jeff Malinoff, and with me is Mark Souza. We still got some Anthony Davis trade talks to talk about. We got some more news on that, Mark. Well, more rumors than news, but we'll see how that things go. Also talk about Super Bowl 53's opening media day. As sometimes it's odd because now we're seeing the two teams facing off in media coverage, which is kind of weird. And then we'll talk about some other NBA games that have happened of importance. But first, obviously, Anthony Davis needs to be talked about as the two teams that are pushing harder than any one of the Knicks and the Lakers. Anthony Davis claims he wants to play Pat before the rest of the season, and the Pelicans said they will only trade him before the deadline if they are overwhelmed. Do you see an overwhelming trade in the works, Mark?
Maybe. I'm not sure. It's really hard to tell at this point. I think the Lakers would like to acquire Anthony Davis sooner rather than later. But at the same time, maybe they're not going to make a move until the summer. I think if I'm the Lakers, I make that move, even if it requires giving up my young core of players plus a draft pick or two, just because I'd like to secure Anthony Davis and then worry about adding a third piece in the summer. If you have LeBron and Anthony Davis now, it makes getting another guy like Klay Thompson or Kyrie Irving or another player of that magnitude in the summer a lot easier, in my opinion, because they'd be the third piece. And, yeah, then you'd go from there. I understand for Lakers fans, they might not want to give up Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, but at the same time, the Lakers aren't in it for the future. They're in it to win a championship or two in the next 3 years. So,
as with LeBron, that's
LeBron has a 4-year contract. He didn't sign there to develop Lonzo Ball. They didn't sign him to go there to wait 3 or 4 years before they're the best team in basketball. They signed him to win championships. So, I think it's what you have to do for the Lakers. I think they're the team that would probably be able to give them the most overwhelming offer at this point. I think the Lakers might be on the outside looking in if they wait until the summer, just because if they wait until then a team like the Celtics can get involved. Plus, you bring in other teams that may actually get in the running for Anthony Davis. They might be able to offer better trade packages if, let's say, someone has the number one pick or a franchise player to send back to the Pelicans.
Yeah. And, the talk is that, it's going to be Kuzma and Lonzo Ball are the main two, as well as even Hart is one of those guys that are considered to be traded from the Lakers, as well as Ingram. And I think the main concern of that is LeVar Ball. It was quote-unquote Lonzo's camp, which I'm assuming is LeVar Ball. It says that he doesn't want him to go to New Orleans, but obviously it's not up to him. But will that be an issue on the Pelican side? If you hear that, are the Pelicans still, thinking about bringing him in?
I mean, what is he going to do, not play? He's a rookie, or he's a second-year player.
Mm-hmm. Do you just want the headache of his father? I know he hasn't been an issue recently because he's on the Lakers, so it's not that big of a deal. But if he goes to another team, it might get worse.
I mean, I don't know. If I'm the Pelicans, I don't give a crap about LeVar Ball, to be honest with you. And I don't care about what Lonzo Ball thinks. He's not a player in this league that can dictate where he plays. Mm-hmm. So, no. I think LeVar Ball can get over it. Of course, they don't want to see Lonzo play for any other team but the Lakers. I mean, that was their goal the whole time. But
don't you kind of wish he wasn't drafted by the Lakers just to see with the look on his face, LeVar Ball's face? Like they draft, I don't know, Jason Tatum instead or something. Wouldn't that be a great reaction?
I mean, if you're interested in seeing LeVar Ball, I don't know, be upset or...
You don't think that'd be good television?
I'm saying if you're interested in seeing LeVar Ball fail or like him...
It's not really him failing.
I'm getting there, man.
All right.
If you're interested in that, then you want to see him drafted by the Lakers and then get moved out.
Well, that might be a better situation, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if
just he was at the draft, that's why I'm saying like, oh, his face would be the meme of the century.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really care about LeVar Ball that much, to be honest
but plus, it's one of those things in where, like, even if his son didn't get drafted to the Lakers, he would still be a top 5 pick, so he's still getting millions of dollars, so it's not that big of a deal. So, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways.
I think there's something to be said that LeVar Ball kind of coerced the Lakers into taking Lonzo Ball. I don't think that he was the consensus number 2 best player in the draft.
I don't believe that either. I don't think anyone really believed that. I think it was just they kept saying it so much that it was almost like a foregone conclusion it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was almost like LeVar Ball was like on his knees to Magic Johnson, begging him to draft his son.
Yep. If I'm the Pelicans, though, I don't do any favors to the Lakers or anyone else. This is a huge move in their franchise. They can't get this trade wrong. This is the type of trade that if they get wrong, they could be playing in Seattle in 3 years. This is the type of trade, if they get this wrong, their franchise could cease to exist in the next 5 years. This is already a struggling franchise, and that's with one of the most popular players in the NBA currently on the roster. You don't want to make a trade where you don't really get anything back that's going to elevate your franchise moving forward. Of course, you're not going to get a player back as good as Anthony Davis, but you can get a trade back as good as Anthony Davis. So that's where they are, and they don't need to trade him right now. They still have him for a year and a half. So I wouldn't, if I was them, I would not rush to the first good offer. I'd like to string this out as long as I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. And with that, like, there's also talks of Julius Randle also being available to be traded. So it feels like that the Pelicans are going to like a rebuild mode.
I think Randle's on a 1-year deal, so.
Well, he's still they're still saying he's optioned to be traded. So it just feels they're willing to trade their key players. It sounds like, and it feels like they're ready for like.
Well, if they trade Davis, they should just trade everybody. They should trade Drew Holiday. They should trade Mirotic. They should trade everybody.
If this trade does go down before the deadline, it looks like they're bound to be ready for a rebuild by next season. I think it's almost a foregone conclusion that this team.
If I was them, I would just send Anthony Davis home and not play him ever again on the team, to be honest with you, because they're at a point right now where they could possibly be in the top 5 or top 6 in the lottery if they don't win another game this season. And if you're in the top 5, the new NBA lottery rules, have you seen the changes? If you're in the top 6, you have a good chance of getting the number 1 pick. You have
different percentages, correct?
Yeah, the highest percentage you have, the worst record has a 14%. The sixth worst record has a 10%.
Wasn't it like 25%?
Yes.
The number worst
so
record?
Anybody in the top 6 has at least a 10% chance, and no one has higher than a 14. And so you basically have almost as good a chance to get that number 1 pick if you're the 6th worst team.
And this is supposed to stop tanking? Is that what their goal is here?
Yeah, I guess.
How is that going to... That's going to make more teams tank, in my opinion. Because then you have a better chance if you're not the worst team in the NBA. If 6 teams tank, they all have the same amount of chances. So
I wonder how much backlash the Pelicans would get, but that's what I would do. If I was their general manager,
oh, they would get tons of backlash.
I would send Anthony Davis home, and I wouldn't play him until they traded him, because he already said he's not going to play, and that's okay. That's his prerogative. He doesn't have to sign a new contract. That's okay. But at the same time, you have to protect your franchise. And what if you're able to get a trade package of 3 or 4 good players and Zion Williamson by tanking? You got to start there, So,
and it's one of those things that if he does get sent home, which I doubt it's actually going to happen, but if he does, it'll be a very interesting situation in New Orleans, how people will react to it, how Anthony Davis will react to it. Will people even push harder to or trade him, because of the fact that he's going to be at home and not playing and not risk of injury? Will they be pushing even harder for him before the trade deadline? Do you think?
No, I don't think that changes how anybody else feels about Anthony Davis. It just protects his own. It protects the Pelicans. That's it. I don't think
it protects his trade value.
I don't think the Lakers are going to say, "Oh my God, they're not playing Anthony Davis. We better add 2 more first-round picks." I don't think they care about that.
Okay.
I mean, what they want to trade, what they're willing to trade for him, won't be on the basis of the Pelicans telling him we're not going to play you because we want to tank. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I honestly remember hearing about those new lottery rules, and I was just. I don't like the fact that, more teams have a better chance of getting the number 1 pick because it can lead to more tanking than not. Don't you think that?
Yeah, I mean, there is a push and pull here because
there is.
Now if you have the 3rd worst record, you have the same chance of getting the number 1 pick as the 2nd or the 1st worst record. So, yes, there is, I guess, if you're ability to tank in the bottom 5 or so, but you're not so concerned about being the worst team because it doesn't help you in any regard by losing an extra game or 2. So, I mean, it is what it is, man.
There's 2 sides to it.
I'm just going to say it doesn't matter what the rules are about the lottery. Teams are always going to tank. That's always going to happen.
Because they've, a lot of teams obviously know they're not going to make it into the playoffs, so why bother?
And honestly, the fact of the matter is that if you're not a big market team, the best way to become a relevant franchise is getting the number 1 pick. I mean, look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're a perfect example.
Yeah.
They got LeBron, and he leaves. They get Kyrie. They get LeBron back because they got Kyrie. Do you think LeBron ever comes back if they don't have Kyrie Irving?
Probably not.
So,
and also, I think they got pretty lucky in the fact that LeBron James was a hometown guy, and he was a generational talent.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a guy that was born in Orlando and loved the Magic, and he's arguably the greatest player of all in his generation. That's kind of how things. You get kind of lucky with that because even if you don't get drafted by him, he's probably going to sign with you in the offseason due to when he's free agent due to the fact that that's his hometown team.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's kind of how a lot of things work. You hope, as a fan, you hope in your hometown there's a generational talent. I think that's kind of how things work now because of what happened with LeBron. It's kind of is there going to be someone from our hometown that's going to be a diehard fan and an amazing basketball player? That's kind of how the things work now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know because even if you're a hometown, how many times does a guy actually play for his hometown and play meaningful years of his career in his hometown? I don't know.
Well, it just feels like a lot of players are going to do the LeBron route is all.
I mean, it helps when you have the number 1 pick. I mean, let's be honest. What happened with LeBron in Cleveland is just pure luck. I mean, it really was.
That's what I'm saying. You got to get lucky.
Right. Yeah.
That's the beauty of the draft. You got to be extremely lucky. Look at some of the teams that have been in the lottery for the last 10 years and gotten nothing for it. You got to get lucky in these drafting because you're not guaranteed anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're guaranteed a high pick, sure, but you're not guaranteed the guy's gonna be amazing. I mean, Anthony Bennett's a perfect example of that. Yeah, the Cavaliers had the number 1 pick, but it was arguably one of the worst draft classes in history.
Yep.
So it comes with a grain of salt every time you get these amazing draft picks positions because you have no idea what they're going to be worth when the player starts playing.
Pelicans play the Rockets tonight in Houston. Tomorrow, they're home. Tomorrow will be the first home game.
He's going to get booed, isn't he?
Probably really bad. It's going to be the first home game since he has asked to be traded. I wouldn't say. I know people keep saying demanded a trade. He's not demanding
requested
a trade. He just says, I'm not signing a new contract.
Well, he requested it. He didn't demand it. I think request and demand are 2 different things. He's like, trade me or else. Demand feels like it's like trade me or else. Request is like, if you want to trade me this season, that'd be great. If you don't, that's cool.
I think he's well within his right and everything to say, hey, I'm not going to sign the extension, so if you'd like to trade me, You can?
I think that was the conversation. That's probably the exact like wording of the conversation, and people are just taking that out of proportion.
I do think it's funny though, because like everyone who follows the NBA like intensely knew that he wasn't signing.
It was bound to happen. Like this was almost like a foregone conclusion, but people thought it would like be off-season talk, not mid-season talk. I think that's why the news is so important, because it happened a little earlier than most people expected.
Well, it's because the Pelicans approached him with his new contract, and he said, "I'm not signing it." So then it became a thing where it was like, "Oh, well, if you're not going to sign here, then you're."
I'm assuming it was the supermax they offered him.
Yeah, he's turning down a lot of money.
Yeah,
he's turning down
over $200 million.
Yep. But that's also why he's going to go to LA, because he's going to make more money being in advertisements and being in LA than he would being in New Orleans.
You think LeBron James has touched his like contract money compared to his like advertisement money he has from like Nike and all that?
He probably hasn't touched that money since he was a rookie.
Yeah, it's really incredible. Like, doesn't he have like $1 billion contract from Nike or something like that?
I have no idea, but even his Nike money, I don't even know.
It's absurd amount of money.
But I would even still say his Nike money is probably like 5% of the money he makes.
Yeah,
LeBron James makes like a lot of money in other things. Like he just advertisements alone, just corporations giving him money to promote products and services and things like that. I mean, I know he's sponsored by Kia, who's also the official sponsor of the NBA. He's got Nike for sure, but yeah, there's a lot going on.
When you're the face of the NBA, money is going to come with it. So
he's done movies.
Michael Jordan
he's done a lot of other stuff.
Michael Jordan has made so much money. He made his own shoe company, for crying out loud.
Mm-hmm.
How much money can you make to make your own shoe company? And now it's like the number one shoe company arguably in the world compared to like Nike. It's up there. Like either you have Nikes or you have Jordans, you know, and sometimes you have both.
Well, I mean, aren't they the same company?
Yeah, but they are different. Like Jordan owns a partial portion of that. You know what I mean? Like,
but I mean, like Nike makes money every time a pair of Jordans is sold. So
yeah,
it's
but
like,
Jordan still makes tons of money there as well. That's just what I'm saying. You either have pure Nikes, like Nike Air Force or something, or you have the Jordan shoes. Like that's what I meant. You get the Nike corporation is making that much money that Jordan has his own line of shoes that are considered their own brand.
Mm-hmm.
Like you look at he even brands like you even see his Jordan logo on the football jerseys of Michigan. You know, like
yep,
that's how successful
Jordan brand has their own apparel.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's how much money he's worth.
It's a Nike shirt.
Do you think there'll be a LeBron James type in the future?
Probably.
Yeah, I got the new James. It doesn't ring off the bell as Jordan's, does it?
His shoes already like pretty popular, but
yeah, but like saying I got the new James, like if the brand with his name on it doesn't sound as attractive as Jordan.
It's also a different era too. Like
true, very true.
When Jordan was a meteoric figure, like when this guy was the best athlete in the world, it was also the same time that like basketball shoes got popular. You know,
true.
Like it was
right place, right time.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at the '90s, for example. There's a lot of iconic shoes, not just Jordans, but like that people remember. Like Jason Kidd had his own shoe. Like KG had his own.
Wasn't that when like the pump ups were a thing? Like you press the little button on your shoe and it pumps up air in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of different styles. And
I had one of those shoes.
You had the Allen Iverson Reebok shoes were popular. Like I remember having a pair of Iversons when I was a kid. The answers, that's what they're called. The questions and then the answers came out after that.
See, that's an awesome name for a shoe. Both of those.
Yeah, those shoes were wildly popular.
So would LeBron's be called the Kings?
I have
not Sacramento.
Not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
right, but for Anthony Davis and the Pelicans, I think they should send him home. I don't see the point in winning another basketball game if he's not going to be there.
Why bother?
Try and get that number one pick. Try to
get Zion.
Yeah, and I mean it would make a trade of Anthony Davis a lot easier to swallow if they're able to
get Zion,
or JT Barrett, like one of those players This is supposed to be a pretty good draft at the top. You got 3 of those Duke players probably in the top 5. There's other players, of course, but yeah, I mean, you got to start from the ground up. The problem is, being a small market like New Orleans, it's going to be interesting because I don't think they can do like what the 76ers did. Like, there's no way. If that team tries to rebuild for 2 or 3 years, I think it'll be over for that
Felt a lot
city.
longer in Philadelphia, though, than 2 or 3 years.
But they did. It was like 6 years. But Philadelphia has a very strong fan base.
Exactly.
They
They're
can
willing to
withstand
wait.
that.
They have patience. I mean,
Yeah,
look
and
at
it's
their
just-
Eagles.
It's just a big basketball town. Like New Orleans, no one cares about basketball.
It's football.
The Pelicans already have one of the worst home attendances in the NBA, and that's with Anthony Davis on their team. I mean, that's
With arguably the best player in the
he
NBA.
might be the best draw in the NBA. Like, in terms of, I get to pick one player to go watch in the NBA. I might pick Anthony Davis. You know, like
That's still debatable because there's a lot of talented guys out there. Like,
I'll ask you this: how many NBA players have you seen personally play? Like good ones, like top 15 players
Oh, like I've seen LeBron play, and then I've seen Curry
in
play.
person, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Curry.
Yeah. Well, the whole Warriors team.
So you've seen like Durant.
Mhm.
Yeah, Lillard. Have you seen Lillard play? Have you seen Westbrook play?
I have seen Westbrook play. I've
Paul
not.
George.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of talented guys I've
Kyrie,
seen.
other guys.
Yeah, but like the most like exciting guys to watch usually are like the Warriors, just because like how fast paced and like high
I only
point
bring
scoring.
this up because I have seen, I'd say, I'm trying to think of a star that I haven't seen play.
I've not seen Kawhi play.
I've seen Kawhi play.
I haven't
I'm just
seen
saying-
Giannis play. I want to see Giannis
I have not
play.
seen Giannis play. I have not seen Giannis play. There's one. I think that might be probably the best player.
Jokic?
I've seen the Jokic play. I think Giannis is the best player, maybe in the top 20 that I haven't seen play. But my point where I'm going with this is that Anthony Davis is clearly, in my opinion, the most interesting person to watch. Because when you see him on the court, even in pregame warmups, he's so tall and he can shoot from anywhere. It's like, Jesus, man. Like, this guy, I mean, I don't know if there's a better under 25, under 26-year-old player in the NBA, if I'm being honest with you.
He is still incredibly young. You got a point.
Under 25.
Under 20, yeah, the best 25-year-old in the NBA. I don't think there's any comparison. Maybe Giannis, but
Like, I'd still take Davis.
I would
over
still
Giannis,
take
you know,
Davis
because
also. Davis is
Giannis,
almost,
I don't know if he's going to be able to shoot. Like, I don't know if he's ever going to get there.
he
I
needs
don't
to
know.
work on that desperately though.
They're all crazy talented players. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you'd want either one on your team and probably both. But yeah,
Could you really afford both? Is the question.
Yeah, absolutely. You can max out 3 players in the NBA.
Yeah, I guess true. It depends on what team you're on. Depends on what your contracts are on your team already.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah, we should go to a break. But first, I want to talk to you about investing, because when investing and planning for your retirement, it's always best to get advice from the experts. Best-selling author Harry Dent, America's #1 economist, says the dark window is open. There's an opportunity to rapidly boost your retirement savings before the greatest stock market crash in American history. But this dark window won't be open for long. You can make up to 10 times the annual average stock market gain in just a few short months. Find out more by going to www.harrydentforecast.com. There's a very short time to take advantage of this dark window. So go to www.harrydentforecast.com to learn more.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We just finished talking about ADE, Anthony Davis, and his situation. Now it's time to talk about the Super Bowl because we are on the road to the Super Bowl. And it was opening media day yesterday. And I don't know if they did this before, but seeing the two teams talk with one another like in the same interview seemed kind of odd to me.
Yeah, media day was weird, I feel like, yesterday.
Yeah, have they ever done that where the two teams are talking with one another?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it definitely something was weird about Brady sitting next to Goff, and
It was-
Belichick
if-
and next
yeah.
to McVay and all that.
Well, they were friends. That's one thing. But Goff and Brady are not friends. They're not even acquaintances. I would say they're just players in the same league.
Mm-hmm. Bill Belichick was wearing a suit. That was weird. Maybe the weirdest thing about yesterday, to be honest with you. Sean McVay was wearing sweats, and Bill Belichick was in a suit. That's weird.
McVay was wearing the Super Bowl 53 apparel.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of what you're supposed to do. Like everyone was wearing the same jumpsuit kind of deal or jacket because they had the logo of their team and the Super Bowl logo. Belichick apparently was not wanting to wear free stuff as he used to.
Guess he's just always going against the grain, maybe.
Isn't it weird he cuts off those sleeves on his jacket? Like, it just seems off to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I was shocked that maybe I'm making too much about this, but he was wearing a full-on suit yesterday.
I think you're reading too much into it, but it's just...
I'm not reading anything into it.
Or
I'm just saying
you're
it's weird.
You're thinking about
Bill
it too much.
Belichick, the man who can never get dressed for the occasion, went overdressed for the occasion. Interesting.
Maybe his final interview. Who knows? Because we know Brady's not done. We don't know if Belichick's not done. He won't say anything.
We don't know if any of them are done.
Yeah. And, of course, we have zero clue
We don't know
what
if
they're
Gronk's
thinking.
done.
Yeah, we have zero clue what's going to happen at the end of the season. So, but just seeing...
Maybe all three retire. Who knows?
I think if we had to make a prediction, I would say at least one of them retires.
Well, it sounds like Gronk is going to retire. I mean, he said yesterday that he's going to take a lot of downtime to mull over his future. We know that he thought about it last year. I think there's a good chance he's done, especially considering the season that he had. I'm not sure that he has a whole lot left in the tank, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's clearly not the same player, so I don't know if that's injury accumulation. I don't know if that's... I don't know, his heart not being into it. Whatever it is, it's something's up. I mean, let's be honest. Look at his numbers all season.
Yeah.
Something's going on with this guy.
Yeah. There was just over. Did you see Sean McVay wearing white cowboy boots?
No, I did not.
It was pretty fantastic.
Sean McVay?
Yeah.
Was wearing white cowboy boots with his sweats or with
his jeans. Yeah. Got a little heel to it, too. I think he wanted to look taller, I'm assuming.
I don't know. Maybe that was in support of Wade Phillips, maybe. I don't know.
Well, maybe. But
he's from Georgia. Did you know that Sean McVay won High School Player of the Year in the state of Georgia over Calvin Johnson?
Yeah, I heard about that. What are they? And how funny. One of them's a future Hall of Famer, the other one's a Super Bowl head coach.
Hey, maybe they're both future Hall of Famers. You never know.
I'm not going to put McVay in that Hall of Fame category yet.
Oh, well, of course not. But being just turned 33 years old and playing in your first Super Bowl is one hell of a start.
Absolutely, 100%. But we don't know what the outcome of the rest of his career is going to be.
If you had $1 million right now to bet on will he be a Hall of Famer or will he not be a Hall of Famer, which side are you putting that money on?
That's a tough one because we only know 2 years into his coaching career. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 8?
That's what I'm saying. It's a bet.
Yeah.
It's a gamble.
It is a gamble.
So which one would you put it on? You have to pick one.
I'd like to keep my $1 million, please.
Nope.
No, I can't tell me how to use my money. I'm keeping it.
So which one would you bet on?
None at the moment.
I'm giving you $1 million, but you have to bet on one.
Fine. I'll say yes. Put him in the Hall of Fame.
Of course. He's 33 years old, and he's in a Super Bowl.
Didn't tell me how much money I needed to bet.
At this point, he doesn't need to do much more other than be a decent coach for, 12 years. Not that long. He'll be 45.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Sean McVay has a big future in this league. I don't know how many Super Bowls that means he's going to play in or win or any at all, but he could be a coach for 40 years.
Yeah, but do you remember the Rams defense kind of hating on Brady and saying he's lost a step and all that stuff?
Yeah, it was Nickel Roby-Coleman, the man who possibly not possibly, got flagged for that pass interference call in the NFC Championship.
You want to hear what he said Monday night?
What did he say?
He said about Tom Brady, Tom's a great quarterback. He's the GOAT. He's a legend. What? Make up your mind. Are you going to hate him?
He's saying that he lost a step. That's what he's saying, right? What else did he say?
And Aqib Talib said he didn't say all that. You all do your own job and put extra on everything. That's his quote. So,
well, Nickel Roby-Coleman actually had a quote that said Tom Brady's not putting enough zip on the ball like he used to. Like he's not the same player. I mean, he definitely said that. I mean, that actually came out of his mouth, but Aqib Talib can say whatever he wants, but Nickel Roby-Coleman actually said those words.
Well, he said that was out of context. He said, I'm not taking anything away from his game.
He literally said out loud, like where everybody could hear it.
He's backpedaling. That's what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. He didn't say anything wrong. He
just taking back the hate is what's happening.
I mean, Tom Brady's lost a step, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, he didn't say anything wrong. Now the Patriots can do whatever they want with that. Tom Brady can use it as motivation because I'm sure he will. Mm-hmm. Because he still thinks that they're all the underdogs and everybody's against them and blah, 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 even though that's a bunch of crap and everybody knows it.
Yeah. And also, we were talking about Gronk retirement stuff. He dodged retirement questions at the media day. Mm-hmm. But there was also one of the most interesting situations in that whole media day yesterday was Jared Goff and Tom Brady sitting next to each other answering questions.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
I think the whole media day was weird.
It was just an awkward situation. It felt like they just weren't comfortable with sitting next to each other.
Way too nice, way too boring. Like, I want to see
fights.
I'm not saying they need to talk a bunch of trash, but
WWE just grab chairs and start hitting each other with them.
I just think they should sell the fight a little more. I mean,
Conor McGregor it.
They don't have to fake it, but who wants to see the two teams that are playing in the Super Bowl just, I don't know, being all buddy-buddy, going out to lunch. You know, that's what it felt like. Let's do lunch, you know? I mean, come on, man. Mm-hmm. You guys are playing in the Super Bowl. I did like Tom Brady's response. I think he was asked, what advice do you have for Jared Goff? And he's like, I'm not giving him any advice. We're playing against him on Sunday. And it was like, no crap. Why would that even be asked? Mm-hmm.
And there's also,
let me tell you how to beat me.
Yeah. And yeah, of course he's going to say that. But also there's the little storyline of Aqib Talib being a former Patriot himself and now playing against them.
What about Brandon Cooks?
This is also true. He said this added fuel to the fire for him personally. And also the fact that Talib and Brady were talking about when they played together, and that was kind of weird. It was like talking about their old an old breakup or something.
Really? I didn't see that.
It was something incredibly brief. It was like a little brush off. Nothing's too serious. But this was a very interesting media day. Not because I've just never seen it where usually it's they're on the opposite sides, or one goes first, the one team goes first, then the other team comes in. Not at the same time and all interviewing each other. I did not expect that.
What I think is cool is Jason McCourty is playing in his first Super Bowl. His brother Devin McCourty is not playing in his first Super Bowl. This is, I think, his third Super Bowl that he's had a chance to play in. But it is cool that the McCourty brothers are actually going to be playing in a Super Bowl together. Devin McCourty talked about how it was awesome that his brother could experience this, and he even said that he would think about retiring after this game because he said, playing in a Super Bowl with my brother, I think that's as cool as it could ever be. And I don't know if I'd play after that. So we'll see what happens in his future, but that is cool, man, to have a family member alongside of you playing for a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely an interesting situation for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, you look at, there's so many other storylines happening to this matchup other than, young coach versus old coach,
I need a little more, man. I need like Sean McVay to say, Bill Belichick, he's just not as sharp as he was before, Like some.
So you need some trash talking.
And I need Belichick to say like, yeah, this guy, is old enough to be a high school coach, but he doesn't belong here, or something like that. Like it's just a little.
You want some drama?
Just add a little Tapatio on that thing, like
Tapatio. That's funny.
Like throw something on there. Like I don't know, man. There's going to be more media stuff going on. I mean, they got a couple more days of this stuff, so hopefully it's more entertaining down the road. Anyways, before we go to break, I want to tell you about investing and planning for your retirement. It's always best to get advice from the experts. Best-selling author Harry Dent, America's #1 economist, says, "The dark window is open. There's an opportunity to rapidly boost your retirement savings before the greatest stock market crash in American history. But this dark window won't be open for long. You can make 10 times the annual average stock market gain in just a few short months. According to the research of renowned Harvard economist Harry Dent, though, this window could slam shut later this year, and nobody on Wall Street is expecting it. This dark window is something bigger by far than anything he's predicted up to this point, and you can make 10 times the annual average stock market gain. Find out more by going to www.harrydentforecast.com. There's a very short time to take advantage of this dark window, so go to www.harrydentforecast.com to learn more.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We just finished up the Media Day talk about the Super Bowl 53. Now we are moving on to NBA games that have happened in the last, 24 hours? Roughly? Yeah, that makes sense. What any games you want to specifically talk about?
The Warriors won 11 in a row. They beat the Pacers last night. They blew them out.
Wow, they won another game. Yeah,
I think it's actually super impressive what they did.
11 wins.
They were winning by 30 points in the fourth quarter against an Indiana Pacers team on the road. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
I'm not sure this Warriors team will lose another game for the rest of the season the way that they're playing right now. It's actually ridiculous. I think this is what every fan feared is what's happening right now.
You mean the dominance of the Warriors?
Yeah. I mean, them adding DeMarcus Cousins and then it just looking like... they'll never lose again. Cousins had 22, 6, and 4 in 25 minutes.
It's getting bad.
Curry had 13 shots but scored 26 points. I mean, look at this. They shot 42% from 3, 54% overall. Pacers did not shoot poorly at all and got blown out by 32 at home.
Yeah. And, this is getting bad. But I think one of the games I want to talk about is the 25-point comeback by the Denver Nuggets over the Memphis Grizzlies. Jokic had a 24-5-3 game. Not his best numbers, but still enough to make the comeback. And really, exclamation point for the Nuggets, resiliency, really, and shows that this team is where they should be in the top place in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
They've earned that. That's my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I mean,
they're no fluke.
The Nuggets were down 25, but... I mean, well, they're playing a team that's already packed it in. I don't know. Like that would have been a bad loss if they would have lost this game.
I think any team can win at any time, so it's just one of those things. You were talking about a great winning streak for the Warriors. How about a 10-game losing streak for the Knicks?
Mm-hmm.
As they lost 101-92 to the Hornets. They have lost 10 in a row. This team is looking like the worst team in the NBA, even worse than the Cavaliers, arguably. Wouldn't you agree? Would you say who's worse, the Cavaliers or the Knicks right now? Who would you put at like the worst team in the NBA?
That is a good question. I might actually put the Bulls in there if I'm being completely honest. The Knicks and the Cavaliers, I think if they were to play a fully healthy squad, I don't think either one of them is worse than the Bulls. But, I mean, obviously, neither team is in it to win games at this moment in time. So,
Yep, true. And it just I don't know why they're being so desperate for Anthony Davis at the moment. Like they're pushing for him hard apparently. And
who, the Knicks?
Yeah, but
Well, I mean, it's easy to see why. They don't have any good players, and Anthony Davis
but
is
this
a
is a
star.
lost season. Like if he's saying he's going to wait out until the end of the season, why not? Do you think they just have to push for him because they need to take advantage of the opportunity, or do you think they should be waiting for the facts that
I think it's because they're planning on trying to sign Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving or both of them. So if they do that,
do you think they're actually going to get one of them?
I don't know, but if they have Anthony Davis, it makes it easier. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm. True,
If
very
you're,
true.
If you're Kevin Durant,
It is a what's it called? How do you describe it? It is a
I think they got to go for it.
an advertise. It's a.
If you have Anthony Davis,
It's a perk to join their team. You get as well as.
I mean, look at free agency. Players join players. Like players are responsible for the movement in this league.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, say what you want about whatever, but players want to go play with LeBron. Players want to go play. They want to make their super teams, right? They want to construct their own teams. If you have Anthony Davis, it's easier to convince a Kevin Durant, hey, come play for us. It'll be you, Anthony Davis, and we're going to work on getting you a third star. Okay, that looks way more enticing than no Anthony Davis, you know?
True, very true.
So, I mean, I get it. I just don't know what the Knicks can give them. Like, what can the Knicks possibly give the Pelicans other than their first-round pick? Like, I don't want Porzingis.
Why not?
When's the last time he played?
I don't know. I'm just trying to. We got to come up with ideas here. Well, maybe in the next four
And
first-round picks.
Porzingis is a free agent pretty soon. Like, you know?
How about not just one, multiple?
Porzingis actually has a player option, I believe, after this season.
Mm-hmm. But wouldn't you put like 4 or 5 first-round picks in there? If you didn't have the talent, you just give them all your first-round picks?
I mean, I think the max you can trade is for.
Then give them all. Like, what else? They don't have, like you
But
said,
I mean,
their
do you
talent
even want
is.
that if you're the like? I don't even know if that's good enough.
They're going to be all lottery picks.
Maybe. But what if they get Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant? They're not going to be picking in the lottery.
Well, the Pelicans probably will, regardless.
Well, I'm saying the Knicks.
Well, I'm saying the Pelicans, like, they're not going to trade their first-round picks. That's why I'm saying they're also going to have their first-round picks, which will probably be lottery picks if the Knicks are doing well. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. But, I mean, you're trading for first-round picks.
Yeah, I to be honest,
In
I
that situation.
don't know. And this is us thinking, what are they going to give? We don't know if the Pelicans like some guys on that team that can boost the young talent on that team. We don't know.
I mean, I know. There's no one on that team that the Pelicans want. Maybe Kevin Knox.
Are you talking to the Pelicans front office?
I mean, no, but I can watch basketball games and realize the Knicks have no talent on this team.
Well, they lost Enro for a reason. I'm just saying maybe they see potential in a player or two. That's all. I
mean,
can
they
think
have
of.
Kevin Knox, who is their rookie that they drafted with like the 7th pick this last year. Nick Latina has been a bust. Porzingis is been hurt for the last 2 years. And then you got guys like Tim Hardaway Jr. who make a ton of money and are not that great. So it's like, you know,
is he really making? He's honestly just making money by the name, huh? Tim Hardaway.
They gave him a big deal and he's making it. So.
Yeah. Well, I think there's if he does go to the Knicks, I would be very surprised. But I'm also gonna say like the best offer the Pelicans will get for Anthony Davis is to the Lakers. I know we've said that before.
Maybe, yeah,
but
it's possible. Or the Celtics. Celtics have draft picks, and they have a lot of players.
Are they willing to risk like losing Jason Tatum or like Marcus Smart for him?
I mean, honestly, they could. There is a way that they could trade a big trade without including Jason Tatum. It probably doesn't happen, but it could.
Do you think Marcus Smart has to be involved in that, though?
Yeah, probably. You trade Marcus Smart. You trade Jason Tatum. I'd trade Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart plus 2 or 3 first-round picks.
It just like I know like Anthony
Davis
is probably worth that, but it would still suck to lose those guys.
Well, yeah, but you're also getting maybe the best player in the NBA, you know?
True.
Makes it easier when you have Anthony Davis. So
if they get Tatum and Smart, the Pelicans do, in a trade like that, I would say they will bounce back very shortly rather than take a long time. You know what I mean? It's just because they'll have a lot of talent and a lot of potential in those guys, plus draft picks. It can only make like a better opportunity for them without Davis. So you know what I'm saying? Like if they lose Davis, they'll have still opportunities to compete with that talented players.
would you rather have Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, and 2 first-round picks, or Ball, Ingram, Kuzma, and a first-round pick?
Oh, that's a tough one. So 2 first-round picks from the Knicks or from the Celtics, and Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum, or Kuzma, Ball, and Ingram in a first-round pick. Are these unprotected first-round picks?
Yes. I don't think that really will matter, but yes.
It could. You never know. But
well, both those teams are not going to, even if injuries struck, they're not going to finish in the lottery. So it's like, yeah.
So basically, I'm thinking Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum, or Kuzma, Ball, and Ingram. You know what? Give me Ingram, Kuzma, and Ball. First of all, there's one extra body there, and Kuzma has been playing extremely well lately. He's been racking up the points since LeBron's been on the bench, and so he would be a fine substitute. Not like a perfect substitute for Davis, obviously, but a fine substitute as their leading scorer. I can see him. Yeah, but I also see the attractiveness in Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum too. So it's really like you can't really go wrong with either trade if those were the offers.
Celtics won last night. Now that we're talking about them.
Yes, they did.
112-104 over the Nets.
The Nets have been competing very well lately. I mean, they didn't lose by 10 or anything like that, but still, it just seems like this team, like D'Angelo Russell has been playing awesome lately.
Yeah,
he's been racking up. He's been leading this team like he was supposed to when he was on the Lakers. But ever since this season, he's been really showing his first round ability.
Yeah, absolutely. The Celtics, though, they've been playing a lot better recently.
They've been stepping up, yeah.
Although I feel like Jason Tatum's kind of had a sophomore slump a little bit this year. But Terry Rozier, Marcus
I think
Smart,
everyone on that team is having some sort of slump here or there. Even like Kyrie Irving, you can say has had a little bit of a slump. Like he's had extremely great games, but he's also had some lulls.
And they won yesterday without Kyrie Irving. They rested him, so.
Yeah, understandable. But I just think that they're going to be the 5th seed. I think they're never losing that spot or gaining above the 76ers. That's just how I see it.
What about going higher than Indiana?
Oh, well, that's a tough one because the Pacers did lose. Was this their first game without Oladipo, like their second or third?
It's been a couple now.
Yeah. And
Boston's just right behind them, so they could close that gap.
The Pacers have lost 2 in a row, so maybe this is a possibility for them to close the gap. They are a game and a half, it looks like, behind the Pacers. So, but it really, if that happens, I see the 76ers taking the 3rd seed and Boston taking the 4th seed. I do not see the Celtics going above the Sixers in the long run. I know they're like a half a game behind them or a game behind them, but I just see the 76ers still being ahead of them at the end of the day.
All right.
Anything you want to talk about? Anything else? I mean, we had the Hawks beating the Clippers. Trae Young saying he's going to be better than Luka in the long run. which wouldn't that's more like him getting in his own head, thinking everyone thinks like maybe you shouldn't care what people think.
With that, Trae Young.
Well, I'm just saying, like, why care what people think if you're better or not better than another rookie? Just play your game. PYG.
Yeah,
my brother.
Think that's a really dumb thing to say for him.
Yeah, it's almost petty, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm not. I don't really care about that. I just think, like, have you watched Luka play? I mean, right now he's minus 10,000 to win the NBA Rookie of the Year award, which is an absolute ridiculous number.
Yeah,
that's a heck of a landslide.
And then it's not like the other players are playing bad. Like
Trae Young is like 3 years older than Luka.
Yeah, but like you also look if you look at the other rookies, like Ayton's kind of struggling. Marvin Bagley's had his starting to start some games and starting to play pretty well. Like I'm not taking anything away from him, but Luka's just on another playing field.
Yeah, it's not even close. Like, come on, let's be realistic.
I'm just giving credit to the other rookies.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying Trae Young.
Oh, Trae Young's being a little petty. Let's be honest.
You know, maybe perform a little bit better. Yes, he's been playing better recently, but he's still. I mean, Luka Doncic is head and shoulders above Trae Young at this moment in time, and Trae Young is older. Well, like 3 years older. He was a junior or a senior when he came out. I mean, yeah, no,
yeah.
Zion scored 26 and had 9 rebounds yesterday for Duke.
Yes, it's almost unfair sometimes when you see them play. Don't you feel that way sometimes? Just like who?
Yeah, they won 83-61 over Notre Dame. It wasn't really close.
Yeah, like they're not. I don't think they're number one anymore. Last time I checked,
they've lost a couple games.
Yeah, but I think on the long run they're going to make a very deep run when it comes to the tournament.
Yeah, I mean they're the expected favorite, right?
Well, yeah. When you have a player that people say is the second coming of LeBron James and the player of that generation that's going to be the Jordan or so on and so forth, they're going to be the favorites.
Duke is number 2 behind Tennessee.
Tennessee, playing very well. Nice.
I haven't watched Tennessee play this year, but I was reading that
they got a lot of
they
talent.
have no top 100 prospects from high school.
I know.
And they're doing all this.
It's also their coaching has been excellent. Like they use the talent they have. I know that's not in the top 100, but they're still extremely talented players, and they're playing at a great pace. Like they're undefeated at home. They're 6-0 in their conference, only 1 loss, and they're just getting the job done. That's all you need to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, man. I think if that's true, I don't know too much about college basketball recruiting, but if that's true, I mean, that's a testament to a coaching staff.
Absolutely. Nothing but respect for that coaching staff to take a team I don't think anyone expected to be around the top 3 and put them as the number 1 team in the AP. So, great for them.
Yeah, Rick Barnes is the coach for the Tennessee Volunteers, so maybe he deserves a raise. Maybe he should
get
an
extension.
Look.
Yeah, or like an NBA look. You're saying
it's quite possible.
All right. What coach do you think? Like the Knicks will fire their coach, and would you see him taking that job? In theory,
I have no idea.
I'm just trying to think of theories. Like
I don't know enough about Rick Barnes to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where he's from. I don't know what his passions are. Like a lot of times, coaches in college they just want to do college.
They're very quiet.
You know, a lot of them just want to do college. Like they don't, and a lot of times pro coaches don't want to go to college in any sport. So,
true.
I mean, he's been a college coach for a long time. He has almost 700 wins. I mean, man, I know that he coached Texas for a while. Yeah, he did. He coached Texas from 98 to 2015. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Who knows? I did want to talk about, this is kind of interesting, a former Falcon, former first-round pick. They call him Mr. Falcon. He recently died. And what they found was he had the most severe form of CTE that has ever been, I guess, diagnosed or whatever you call that. But I did find that interesting because it's the week of the Super Bowl in Atlanta, and he was a Falcons player. Tommy Nabis is his name. Former number 1 pick in the NFL draft. He was college teammates with Joe Namath at Alabama. So obviously sad times, but again, just another black mark on the NFL in terms of CTE, head trauma, and all that. So.
It's always going to be a part of their identity from now on. Like it's just how it works.
Don't be surprised if here in the next couple of days we see some more, on media day and things like that, some more stuff about this.
More questions and stuff.
Roger Goodell is set to take the podium either today or tomorrow.
That's not good.
It'll be the first time that he will be asked about what happened last the NFC Championship game.
He's $20 says he dodges some of the questions.
Well, he's not going to get the opportunity this time. He's going to have to answer some of them. So I think he will. I think that he's done the right thing in not talking until now.
God, wouldn't it be great if we didn't know? Like, it would just be nice to not to have to deal with Roger Goodell. he's in the news pretty constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, anything else?
No, that's it.
I think we're good. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Please tune us in tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a good day, everybody.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.